Last week, we had a little meltdown when we were given some pretty shoddy service by a local radiator service company.
So this is disgusting work.
Our motor assembly moved along at the speed of a classic escargot. Get it? Escargot? Snail? And I started to map out Meraaai's dashboard. This week is a big week. A huge week. A bumper week. Work continues on our interior storage space, and we have action, massive action on the engine front. Meraaai gets a visitor, and we finally get around to start designing our fiberglass wheel arches and skirting. All this and so much more in episode 73 of A Dream Called Meraaai. Life at East Coast Scratch and Dent is moving along at a serene pace. All is calm. It is a new day, it is a new week, and we will have challenges. We will have lots of challenges. However, this is an exciting week. Bram said he is going to put a smile back on my dial, and hopefully that is the case. Andre's going to start climbing in, doing the skirting thing around the bottom of Meraaai. Hopefully the engine will be fired up. In fact, it will be fired up. And we get a visitor. I have a beautiful friend of mine who pops in to say how's it. So lots to cover. Let's get to it. We begin with our usual catch-up with our hobbling around chain-smoking skinny guy, who for now has hung up the welding machine and is busy with interior woodwork. Over here we have all the bits and pieces for the cupboards inside. So Smokin John has cut this all off, and every one of them has got a little number written on it, so hopefully he knows which number goes where, because it's like a big jigsaw puzzle that he's going to have to assemble at some stage. There are quite a few small spaces inside the vehicle that can and will be used as storage space. Storage space being something you can never have enough of when it comes to these vehicles. The unit that houses our fridge needs some Smokin John magic to create extra space. The main storage space is the area above our Snowmaster fridge freezer. Smokin John's busy working on our storage drawer, which goes above the fridge, and on top of that there'll be a work surface. These are standard sort of off-the-shelf foam cutouts that you can get from one of these camp shops that I've got, and then I went with that into the supermarket and I found all the stuff to put inside it. What I didn't think about, and that John's just pointed out to me, is the sides of the wood, and I hope my glasses, my high roller glasses, will fit in there. If not, I'm going to have to go shopping again. We have decided to use the L-shaped PVC to hold the drawer together. It is strong and lightweight. It was by chance that we stumbled across a fencing company that makes PVC fencing, who supplied and cut square PVC tubing in half for us to use on all our edges. Smokin John is meticulous in the way he polishes the painted birch ply to a satin smooth finish. He is justifiably proud of his efforts, which gets a nod of approval by boss man Bram. I had to see what all the hoo-ha was about.
Smooth like a baby's bum.
Babies' bums can also get rashes, but nothing even close to the blisters and rashes that a certain slightly crazy visitor to Meraaai boasted during a ridiculously long hike. Every now and again we have visitors, and this is Brenda. Now, Brenda was at school with me, and it wasn't that long ago Brenda foolishly walked a long way, when she could have done it in a motorhome. She could have done it in one of these babies behind us, but you walked it. What was that thing again?
The Camino.
What's it? What is it? What is it? Yeah, what is it?
It's a pilgrimage.
A religious significance, or?
Yes.
Yeah. How far?
785 kilometers in total.
Yeah, she should have driven it.
But it was awesome.
There we go.
I would love to drive it too.
Yeah, next time in a motorhome with a glass of wine.
Oh yes.
The Camino pilgrimage is also known as the Way of St. James and has its origins in medieval times. Today, the Camino de Santiago attracts thousands of people, my mole friend Brenda included. But seriously, I have only huge respect for this amazing woman who overcame personal challenges and undertook the experience of a lifetime. She made her dream her reality. Our reality weighs in at around 3.5 tons, and 500 kgs of that is a massive engine that we need to get up and running as a matter of urgency.
I had to pop out for a short while and I've come back and I've seen there's a few little additions to this motor. A battery and a container of diesel and lots of tubes and things going in. Looks a bit like, you know, when you're in ICU and you're hooked up to all these tubes and whatnot and little bags of plasma and life supporting fluids. That's what this looks like. This is open heart surgery 101, but open heart surgery 101.
How do you start this thing now? I mean, you know, there's no ignition, so what do you do?
No, just not wires on the starter motor. Just put a jumper cable on the starter and then one small wire for the solenoid.
Meraaai's engine was not going to summer fire up at the drop of a spanner. Meanwhile, across the workshop at Meraaai, Andre had started his prepping of Meraaai's bodywork.
The skirting thing that we're going to be doing along here, what's your plan?
Okay, our plan is to keep it below this line, to move this thing all the way through. Otherwise, we've got too many cutouts in the system to make it wider.
So you'll start it below the sliders and everything?
Yeah.
Andre is one of these O's who starts work stupidly early in the morning, so it is seldom that I catch him on the job.
It seems I get here a little bit too late. This table behind me is where Andre will be doing all the fiberglass construction of these side panels and skirting. I'm going to have to get here a bit earlier if I want to get footage of those, otherwise it's just like it's a mystery.
I did, however, get to East Coast Scratch and Dent early enough to finally catch the elusive Andre crawling around inside Meraaai.
What is it there, Andre?
See, you've got a vent on that side.
Yeah.
This one was closed.
Oh, okay.
If you open it again, we're going to make lids for them.
Okay, so that'll just bring in fresh air from the outside.
Yeah.
You can see that Andre's already started cutting away all the old frot steel here and then opening up these air vents and just getting a sort of an opening that you can see and someone can start to design something. I mean, you've got to take into account the radiator is over here, windscreen wipers are going to come over here. All of that has to be incorporated into whatever he is going to design.
Andre must also take into account Meraaai's approach and departure angles. We want those to be well within the limits that we will need in order to reach some of the places we will visit.
I think it is time to give Andre his Meraaai name, and that name is going to be Resin Man. And he's going to be Resin Man. He's like got these superhero abilities to be invisible. Like, I know he's been doing stuff here, but he's like invisible.
Meraaai's 500 kilogram power plant is most definitely not invisible, but it is still not talking to anyone.
The last time this motor ran was well over a year ago, about 1 year, 4 months ago. Yes!
Then Pete does what he does best.
A little pump on the side there.
Will she or won't she? She will.
Yeah.
The next step is they've got to just modify the stand that the motor's attached to so they can attach the radiator, hook up the turbo and the manifold, and then let her run a little bit longer. And just to make sure everything is okay, burn off all that extra oil, get all the smoke out of the system, and then we'll be ready to put her inside.
The excitement of the last few minutes quickly turns to concern when I see the guys clucking around Meraaai's engine like a brood of hens looking at their chicks.
Now it seems as though there's another little issue that was cropped up, and that is to do with the turbo and how it's going to fit on the motor.
And the turbo is pushing against the starter. So now we're rerouting the turbo at the
How
moment.
much is it?
But you can see where we're going to put the turbo, not to interfere with any of your engine parts.
After a short discussion, the hens made a plan.
The plan is now is to build like
A bracket?
a bracket that goes
A 90-degree bend.
there, and
down.
onto there, and so the turbo will sit here.
I was concerned at these new developments raised by the hens, but also thrilled that we were not clucked. All this effort to change our engine into a turbo engine is to give us more power and save us fuel. If I look at our predicted fuel prices for April, I think we are in for a world of pain. According to the Automobile Association of South Africa, diesel will go up by an eye-watering R3.08 a litre, and unleaded by around R2.15 a litre, making unleaded cost R24 a litre and diesel some R23.60 a litre. All of this because a madman has attacked Ukraine, a country that is home to many friends I made during the time I spent there. Each week that passes is a week of shared terror and grief.
Not the nicest way to wind down an insert. A couple of days ago I received a message from a very dear friend of mine who lives in Kyiv, and she said the most terrifying thing is when you go to bed at night you don't know if you will wake up in the morning, and that is what these guys are living with. So yeah, but that's all we got for this week. We achieved quite a bit on Meraaai, and so things are picking up. We still don't have our turbo secured on the engine yet, but hopefully next week we can bring that to you. So thank you so much for joining us, and please look after yourselves and keep safe.
Remember to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You will find us under A Dream Called Meraaai. Until next time, keep your dreams alive.